Hi everyone, I have created a question which is similar to a question given in the GMAT Advanced Official Questions book. Alright, so let's discuss that over here. And remember, in your preparation for GMAT Quant, there are two steps. The first step is structured prep, where you get thorough understanding about all the topics and the various type of questions. And once you're done with this, you can go ahead and do mixed problem solving. And this is what we are aiming over here. So let's dive in. The question is, Bob's office will reimburse up to 320 gallons of petrol used up as fuel for vacation travel. He goes on a 1,000 miles journey with his family for a vacation. He has noticed that when he travels at 50 miles per hour, he's able to cover 2.5 miles per gallon of petrol fuel, and when he travels at 40 miles per hour, he's able to cover 3.5 miles per gallon. At the end of the trip, he used up exactly 320 gallons. How many miles did he travel at 40 miles per hour speed? So that's the question, right? We need to find out how many miles he covered at 40 miles per hour speed. And remember, at the end of the trip, he used up 320 gallons. So this is the question. So pause the video, give it a try, and then let's do it together. Remember, it's not that you need to solve the most difficult questions. The important thing is that you need to be able to solve questions like these in a very quick manner. So that's important. And for this, it's important that you keep practicing questions till the exam day. So pause the video, go ahead and give it a try, and then let's look at it together. All right. I hope you have given it a try and solved the question. Now let's take up this question together. Now over here, it's given that if he's traveling at 50 miles per hour, he's able to cover 2.5 miles with 1 gallon of petrol fuel. And it's also mentioned that if he's traveling at 40 miles per hour speed, then he's able to travel 3.5 miles in 1 gallon of petrol. So this is given. And the question is, we need to find out how many miles he traveled at 40 miles per hour. Let that be X. Now, if this is X, then he would have traveled 1000 minus X miles at 50 miles per hour, because it's given that the total distance of the journey was 1000 miles. All right. Now let's take a look at this part over here. It's mentioned that at 40 miles per hour, he's able to travel 3.5 miles with 1 gallon of fuel or petrol fuel, right? Now, if this is the case, and over here we have said that he traveled X miles at 40 miles per hour, right? So instead of this 3.5 miles, if I have X, then how many gallon of petrol would have been used? So how do we find that? So how do we solve this? So for this, you just need to find out first how many gallons would have been required for 1 mile. Now to change this 3.5 to 1, you just need to divide this side and this side by 3.5, right? So 3.5 divided by 3.5 gives you 1 over here, and over here it becomes 1 divided by 3.5. Now to find out how many gallons would be required for X miles, you need to multiply both the sides with X. So 1 into X gives X itself, and 1 by 3.5 into X gives you X divided by 3.5. So to travel X miles at 40 miles per hour, he would have required X divided by 3.5 gallons of fuel. All right. Now in a similar manner, if for X it's 3 and at 40 miles per hour, the gallons required is X by 3.5. From the pattern, you can see that in this case, the number of gallons required would be 1000 minus X divided by 2.5, right? So let's write that as an equation. We know that the total amount of fuel used up was 320 gallons. So X divided by 3.5 plus 1000 minus X divided by 2.5 is equal to 320. So this is the equation that we have. Now we need to find out what is X from these options over here. Now an interesting thing you can notice over here, this over here is a whole number, right? It's 320. It doesn't have any decimal values. So whatever we get over here typically has to be perfectly divided by 3.5. Now it is possible that we get a decimal over here and a decimal over here, and when they are added up, it becomes a whole number. That is possible. But then let's just try whether there is any option where X is perfectly divisible by 3.5, and let's plug in the value and see whether over here also the value that we get and the two values that we get, whether it adds up to 320. So let's just try that. Okay. So over here we have 3.5. Now, what's an interesting thing of 3.5? We know that from the multiplication table of 7, 3.5 is nothing but 7 into 0.5, right? All right, so let's see whether we have something over here. You can see that all the values are divisible by 5, right? So you just need something that is divisible by 7. So let's try that. You can see that only 700 among these values over here is divisible by 7, right? So let's plug in the value over here. 700 divided by 3.5, that comes to 200, and 1000 minus x would be 700, right? So 1000 minus 700 will give you 300. 300 divided by 2.5, that gives you 120, right? Now when you add these up, you get 320. So yes, it's working out. Therefore the correct answer to this question is option D, which is 700. Now again, let's take a look at the division just in case someone is confused. 700 divided by 3.5. How do you do that? 700 divided by 3.5. You multiply the numerator and denominator by 10. That's equivalent to 7000 divided by 35. Now over here I have 70. 70 by 35 is 2. So this over here becomes 2 into 100, which is 200. Similarly, over here you have 300 by 120. 300 by 2.5, right? So 300 by 2.5, let me write that over here. 300 by 2.5, multiply the numerator and denominator by 10. That's equal to 3000 by 25. Now over here you have 100, right? 100 by 25 gives you 4. So 4 into 30 gives you 120. That's this 120 over here. So the correct answer to this question is option D. All right. So all the best in your preparation. Do remember to subscribe to this channel so that you get notified when we have new content. So remember, do structured preparation, and once you're done with that, do mixed problem solving. All the best.